Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TMRP, the Metropolis Radio podcast, for our third episode. Now, this week we've got a packed show for you guys with 7 different news stories. So I'm not going to dilly-dally too much in this introduction. So I'm just going to get right into our first main story. And the first main story is rather big in the sense that Pixar's Soul, which was originally pushed to 2021, is now bypassing the theaters completely and just going straight to Disney+. Yeah, like I said, I believe that this originally was delayed to 2021 after Regal had shut down, but now it has a release date of December 25th, 2020 on Disney+. And unlike Mulan, it is not going to be Premiere Video On Demand, or PVOD for short. No, it's going to be made available to all subscribers to Disney+, which should also say something about how Mulan really went over on Disney+. Like I said last week, I don't remember what I said word for word, but I said something to the effect of, depending on what analyst you listen to, Mulan either made $30 to $35 million in PVOD sales, or it made just as much as, $260 million in PVOD sales. And with a movie like Mulan, with it, costing about $200 million to make, that movie needed to, having it not go to the theaters, it didn't need to make $1 billion to break even. It could have probably gone away with about 500 or 600 million to break even, but they got nowhere near that number. So maybe this is going to lead to more people subscribing to Disney Plus, knowing that Soul is going straight to it. However, that is left to be seen. Personally, I'm probably not going to watch Soul because for me, Pixar and their quality basically just dived straight off a fucking cliff after the release of Toy Story 3. Because remember, Cars 2 came out, I think a couple months after Toy Story 3, and that was fucking garbage of a movie. I refuse to rewatch Cars 2. Cars 3 is not bad, though. And, what's that one that they did about emotions? Is that Inside Out? I think that's Inside Out. I only saw that movie one time, and I don't really remember anything of it. I refuse to watch Brave for some reason. I've had it, I had it on my watch list for about 5 years, and it's like, well, I'm never going to watch this damn thing, so I'm just going to take it off my watch list. So yeah, with me and Pixar, it's gotten to the point where it's too much of a risk for me, because like, am I going to waste 2 hours of my time on something that's not going to be as good as something that they just produced like 10, 15 years ago? No, I'm probably going to watch The Incredibles 1 long before I watch The Incredibles 2, because I like the first Incredibles, so I don't want the sequel to potentially ruin it. Now, I'm tangenting, as always, and I actually wanted to tangent off of Soul bypassing theaters to Disney making an announcement this week that they are going to completely reorganize to prioritize streaming, primarily reorganize to focus on Disney+. And this decision came directly from Bob Chapek himself, the current CEO of Disney. So I'm going to read some lines from the article word for word and then give my 2 cents on it. Disney will create a new media and entertainment distribution group responsible for both the dissemination and ad sales for all its content. The content will still be created by all of the studios, so think that your Marvels, your Lucasfilms, your Touchstone Pictures, if Touchstone is even still around, Hollywood Pictures, which I know I'm going really far back with that one. But yeah, all the studios that they own will still produce the content, and it'll still be overseen by guys like Alan Horn, Alan Bergman, Peter Rice, and James Pitaro, respectively. Now, with me, this move really doesn't surprise me at all, given what I said about last week about the death of the blockbuster, and the sense that the $100 to $200 million spectacle, the market is no longer there to support, 100 movies needing to make $1 billion in theaters just to break even. At some point, you're going to have to cut your budgets down because, okay, do we really need to pay Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell $25 million each to be in one movie that probably will not make its budget back because it's a stupid fucking comedy? If you don't believe me, look up how much money Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell made on the movie The Other Guys. I'm a peacock. You've got to let me fly. And I don't remember who said this, but I'll reiterate it here, is that now after COVID, studios are going to have to work a lot harder effectively to make less money. So, okay, let's say, like I brought up the example of Knives Out, and that had a pretty stellar cast with guys like Daniel Craig and Christopher Plummer. That movie only had a $40 million budget, but it grossed $300 million worldwide in theaters. So automatically, Lionsgate greenlit a sequel. If you shrink your budgets down to that $30 to $90 million range, okay, you didn't make a movie that was, a $1 billion movie, but you made something that, made like $400 to $500 million, you still got a pretty good ROI. And in the business world, ROI stands for return on investment, for those who don't know. So, with Disney, this move is not surprising that they're going to have to make their budgets cheaper, and they're going to have to focus on growing the streaming content because, I don't think the theaters are going to really, survive this, which leads us into our next main topic, in the sense that 2021, I am predicting this right now, is going to be a complete box office disaster. Now, I read an article and it said some analyst from like B. Riley, it was Eric Wold, actually lowered his financial forecasts and stock price targets for exhibition companies. That's basically your theater chains and your local independent theaters, but we have to create this euphemism. So they're not movie theaters, they're exhibition companies. It's like toilet paper whenever you go to the supermarket. It's not sir, it is not toilet paper, it is bathroom tissue. And you know what? I do not know a single person in my personal life who uses the term bathroom tissue. They always go to the supermarket, hey, where do you keep your toilet paper? Oh, that's in aisle 15. Oh, okay, thanks. But then on top of the aisle, it'll say bathroom tissue. It's like, yeah, whatever. But anyways, getting back to 2021 box office disaster, the analyst did say, quote, attendance can approach 2019 levels in 2022, citing the fact that the fourth quarter film slate has basically become barren with the delays of No Time to Die and now Soul going straight to Disney Plus. And what were the other movies that got delayed? Black Widow's been pushed back to 2021 now. I think Venom Let There Be Carnage has also been pushed back to 2021. And Wonder Woman may not be too far behind at this point. And my 2 cents on this whole thing, not this, fucking analyst, is 2021 is going to be a disaster simply because there's now such a logjam of movies. And this leads to one big thing. If you have like 9 blockbuster movies coming out a weekend, I may be over exaggerating, but okay, let's say it's down to like 5 per weekend, right? If you have too many choices at the movie theaters, choice is a good thing, but if you have too many choices, that's going to lead you to go to analysis paralysis. Especially if, this weekend, there's these 5 blockbuster movies I want to go see. Let's say it's No Time to Die, Wonder Woman 1984, Black Widow, what are some other ones? Venom, and Morbius. Let's just play a game of hypotheticals here. Let's say all 5 of those movies are releasing on the same weekend, but you only have enough money to go see 3 of them, but you want to see all 5. So how do you make the decision to go see 3 of them? Well, now you're going to have to start weighing pros and cons. Did you enjoy the prior movie in the series? How badly do you want to go see it? Can you wait for it to come to Netflix or Redbox? And blah, 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 blah. Shit that people don't want to think of when they want to go to a fucking movie theater. So they're just going to throw their hands up in the air and go, fuck it. I'll just wait until it hits Netflix or it comes to Redbox. And as a result of all this analysis paralysis, the theaters sure as shit aren't going to make money. And that means that the studios aren't going to make the money. So the studio's pushing all these movies back because we want to have our $1 billion box office take. Ooh! Number 1, are not going to have the theaters to show them in. And number 2, like I said, now you're giving people too many choices. And too many choices leads to no one making money. And like I just said, if most of the theaters are permanently closed in 2021, because let's be fair, AMC is running out of cash, Cinemark might be okay, but depending on how long that they stay shut down, they're going to have to do some pretty significant cutbacks. I think the only like big theater chain that is like really in a really good spot is Regal. You know, Regal can hold out for probably an entire year. You know, so if most of these theaters, you know, are going to have to permanently close in 2021, where are these studios going to release the movies that they keep delay? You know, are they going to release them all to Premiere Video on Demand, PVOD? Well, let's see. That's only worked for Trolls World Tour. I think Scoob pulled in a pretty significant amount. But most movies that release on PVOD, you know, let's look at Mulan. You know, it made anywhere from 30 to 35 million, all the way to 260 million in PVOD sales. Nowhere near where Disney needed to make in order to justify the budget. And here's the really, really fucked up part. Okay, the Hollywood studios want you, the American taxpayer, to bail out these fucking theaters because they don't want to take a haircut on any of these blockbuster movies that they just want to keep on delaying. Well, you know, the Fast and the Furious has been a multi-billion-dollar franchise, so we're gonna keep it as such. Oh, it's hurting us. Government, please come in and bail us out, even though we refuse to release these movies. And in my opinion, don't bail out the goddamn theaters. You know, the studios threw the poor theater owners under the bus, and this is where I genuinely feel bad for theater owners because they basically have been caught in the crossfire because all these Hollywood studios don't want, like I said, they don't want to take a fucking haircut when they probably should have. Okay, you know, let's release Mulan in the theaters. Okay, it's not going to make $1 billion, but you know what it's going to do? You know, if we release Mulan, Black Widow, Wonder Woman, Bond 25, No Time to Die, okay, it may not make $1 billion, but you know what? We'll make enough money to stop the fucking bleeding. And that's going to be more important because, like I just said a couple of minutes ago, if most of these theaters are going to be permanently closed because, well, they just don't have the money to reopen, where are you going to release the fucking movie to make it $1 billion movie? You know, you don't have as many screens as you used to back, you know, as even going as far back as 2019. If the studios and the theaters have this, you know, symbiotic relationship, the theaters are so important to our industry. Why did they throw the theaters under the bus this way? You know, if the studios think that they can make more money on Premiere Video on Demand than going to theaters first, that is their prerogative and not really the theater owners. The studios clearly don't value the theaters. And we're going to get to later how all of this news coming out really is not any signs of a dying industry. I would argue that some aspects of the industry are dying, and like my episode last week was all about, you know, the death of the blockbuster. The $100 to $200 million spectacle side of the movie industry is dying, but that doesn't mean that the entire industry is going tits up. And I'm going to end this off before I tangent for too long, that, you know, with the whole idea of, you know, Hollywood wanting you, the American taxpayer, to bail out the theaters. This is the fault of the movie industry. If they wanted to keep the theaters around, they could have, had they just agreed to take a haircut. But no, they want you, the taxpayer, who had no fucking say in the shutdown to begin with, to basically bail them out. Why? I say let them fucking die. Let them go a few years while making less and less money and make them reflect on their own decision going, yeah, we probably should have, you know, helped out our friends in the theater industry, but you know what? We wanted to make these blockbusters make $1 billion and just basically get on our hands and knees and pray to Jesus or whatever God that we pray to, that the theaters have enough money to stay open. Whereas last week I had reported that AMC analysts were predicting that they only have like 6 months of liquidity left. And it has been confirmed this week that they are in fact running out of cash. So there's your biggest theater chain right here in North America is probably going to go tits up by the end of the year if nothing is getting released. So, okay, Regal is shutting down, but AMC is going to remain open. But if AMC doesn't have the money and the movies are not coming in, and the only movies that are coming in is, hey, kids, want to go rewatch the Goonies on the big screen? Hey, kids, let's go rewatch Jaws. The 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. What's another popular movie? Let's bring back the Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. Ooh, every one of those movies, I have either the DVD or the Blu-ray of. Why am I gonna go out of my way to go see those movies in a theater? If I in my position, I'm probably not going to go out of my way to go see them. So that's not helping the theater industry at all. You know what would help the theater industry? Release Wonder Woman, release Black Widow, maybe release Mulan in theaters, and then make enough money to stop the bleeding. But again, the theaters struggling is not your fault, not the taxpayers' fault. It's the movie industry's fault. And I did say I was going to move on before I tangented. Then I tangented. But you know what? That's why you listen to this, because I love tangenting. And personally, I find it really boring when podcasts basically stick to, like, here is the rigid script. I am going to read this line for line, and then we are going to talk very robotic. And then we are going to move on to next main topic. So how do you feel about this, Jim? Well, you see here, Chris, what I like to say. Now, Chris, remember, you need to stick to the script. Oh, right. Well, you see here, Soul has now bypassed the theaters. And in my opinion, which you conveniently wrote for me, this is going to be an unprecedented move, correct? Why, yes. All right, in all seriousness, guys, I am going to move on to our next main topic, so stick around for that. So our next main topic of news is Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I'm sure she's probably pronounced it elsewhere, but apparently she is going to play the lead in a Cleopatra biopic. And Patty Jenkins is set to direct, the director of Wonder Woman and Monster with Charlize Theron. I think it's Laeta Kalogridis. I know I'm butchering the hell out of that name. Penned the script, and just a fun fact about her: she was the showrunner for the Birds of Prey television series that was on the WB back in the early 2000s, and she was also one of the writers for Terminator Genisys. The movie will be produced by Charles Roven of Atlas Entertainment, with Gal Gadot and Jaron Varsano. I know I'm mispronouncing the hell out of that one. Of the Pilot Wave Motion Pictures banner, and it will be distributed by Paramount. Oh, yay! And like I said, Gal Gadot is set to star as the Queen of Egypt. Surprise, surprise there, given how popular she became after Wonder Woman. And how many people even remember that she was in Fast and Furious, the 2009 movie? She was Giselle. Died in number 6 after sacrificing herself. And now this movie has actually generated quite a bit of outrage because apparently of like Cleopatra. I don't know what it's for. And, the outrage really has no basis in reality or even history. They are right that Cleopatra was not even an Egyptian when she ruled Egypt. No, she was a Greek. And was actually the last active ruler of Egypt before the ancient Romans turned Egypt into a province of the ancient Roman Empire. And I know that little factoid because I was really into ancient history growing up for some reason. Now, in my opinion, I think that the outrage is being used to hide the true challenge with this movie. And the real challenge with this movie is we already have a Cleopatra movie. And it was a fucking epic of a movie, 4 hours long. And it's quite famous. You may have heard of it. It's the one with Liz Taylor as Cleopatra, also Richard Burton as Mark Antony, and the very talented and very famous at the time Rex Harrison as Julius Caesar. And for those of you who don't know who Rex Harrison is, he was a comedic actor, And for those of you that are fans of Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane over the years has admitted that the inspiration for the voice of Stewie came from Rex Harrison. Now the original movie from 1963, it actually bombed at the time, given that it went insanely over budget, but it's viewed as a classic today. And I remember Hallmark did a miniseries for Cleopatra in '99, and it starred Leonore Varela as Cleopatra, Billy Zane of Titanic fame as Cal. I personally remember him from the Sniper movies, but that's just me. Billy Zane was Mark Anthony, and Timothy Dalton, James fucking Bond himself, was Julius Caesar. And I think that's the only reason people even talk about the Hallmark series, is just for Billy Zane and Timothy Dalton, because I had actually never heard of it till just a few years ago. But honestly, ask yourself this question. What is this Gal Gadot Cleopatra movie going to do that the 4-hour epic already didn't accomplish? You know, the Hallmark miniseries isn't discussed because of how famous that original movie is. You're gonna get compared to that, classic epic with Liz Taylor, Richard Burton, and Rex Harrison. And I'll say this before I move on, because I don't want to drag this part out for too long. Be very, very weary of the movies that, piss off the SJW crowd of Twitter. And I largely say that because there is a huge, huge market right now for those types of books, movies, comics, TV shows, whatever. The outrage that you're seeing on Twitter could literally just be there for the marketing. I remember there was a video game that came out a few years ago called Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, and they decided to basically use the outrage as marketing, and nobody called it for the time. They played to the politics of the time, and they used Donald Trump's slogan, "Make America Great Again." And in like the 10-second trailer, they used "Make America Nazi Free Again." Led to a lot of outrage on Twitter of basically, how dare you get political. And, I remember this one dumbass on YouTube I used to watch, I still do to a degree, when, he's literally sitting there going, Wolfenstein was always about beating Nazis. What the hell kind of rock are you living under? Not fucking calling it for what it is, because let's be honest, it's not popular to call out the outrage for what it is. It's just a fucking marketing tactic now. And yeah, there are already dumbass YouTube channels and podcasts with regards to this Cleopatra movie that are already playing into this bullshit, which could just be something that the filmmakers wanted all along because, hey, it's free advertising. I would have a lot more respect for some of these people who if they just called it for what it is, but no, that's not the popular thing to do because I can't risk my access. So before I go off on too long of a tangent like I did last time when I went on for like 20 minutes on one fucking topic, let's move on to the next main topic, and that is Furiosa, the prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, finally got cast. Now, before I go in any further, the movie is not officially greenlit yet, but with the casting process already done, if you cast with a big name or two agreeing to do the movie, that could really speed up the process. So who's going to play the role of Furiosa? That is Anya Taylor-Joy is actually cast for the role of Furiosa. You might remember her from movies such as Split, Glass, and The New Mutants. And I just realized I just made a Simpsons reference there. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You might remember me from such movies as... And if there's any new Simpsons fans, you're not going to know what that is because they have not used Troy McClure in probably 20 years. Now, Charlize Theron, who played Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road, was in talks with returning for the prequel movie, and they were going to use the de-aging technology that you see a lot of in the Marvel movies now. But George Miller later decided against it and just wanted to cast a younger actress to take over because the prequel, I think, is set like 20 years prior to Mad Max Fury Road. And the other two people to get cast are Chris Hemsworth of Thor fame and I am gonna butcher the hell out of this name, and I'm saying that right now. It's Yaha Abdul Mateen II. Again, I know I butchered the hell out of it, but I've never heard it pronounced. I've never even heard of the guy personally. He was in Aquaman, Us, and the Watchmen miniseries that was on HBO. Now, their role... Now, Chris Hemsworth and this Abdul Mateen guy... it's really unclear like what roles they're going to be as of the recording of this episode. And also the timetable for this movie is really rather unknown, given the fact that Chris Hemsworth is scheduled for filming the movie Thor: Love and Thunder in January of 2021, and Anya Taylor-Joy is currently shooting Robert Eggers' The Northman right now. So when is Furiosa actually going to get made? Who the hell knows? This movie has been teased since Mad Max Fury Road came out 5 years ago. And personally, I'm actually not that excited for the Furiosa prequel. In fact, the only reason I'm even bringing this up is because I did, 4 videos on the YouTube and BitChute channel covering all of the Mad Max movies. I can't believe I'm losing my train of thought here. But yeah, I covered all 4 of the Mad Max movies. Had I not done that, I probably would have just skipped this because, this doesn't really interest me. And I actually argue that the time for this movie has passed quite significantly. If you wanted to do a Furiosa movie, it needed to be released by 2017, 2018 at the extreme latest, when Mad Max Fury Road was, when that movie's popularity was at its peak. Because nowadays, I don't know anyone personally who talks about Mad Max Fury Road and not in a negative context. Because that movie over the years has gotten pegged as it was just a feminist movie and nothing more. And those people are not incorrect. If you want to hear my full opinion on Mad Max Fury Road, I did do a video on the YouTube and BitChute channel. Just search Mad Max, it'll probably come up. I did all 4 movies, back to back to back to back. That was actually pretty fun, with the exception of Fury Road. But before I, rant, cry, and bitch about Fury Road, let's move on. And a show that I have not seen 1 second of, but Netflix's GLOW, the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. The cast got together on a live stream this past Saturday, and they asked viewers to petition Netflix to make the movie. Now, I'm only bringing this up because it was brought up on the all-new Mega Podtastic podcast, episode number 33. That just happens to be the episode that I was on, and that's why everybody should listen to it. Ha 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 ha! But anyway, it was brought up that Netflix had canceled GLOW despite the fact that the 4th and final season already got greenlit, and the 3rd season ended on a cliffhanger. And in my personal opinion, I think they even confirmed this in the article, that Netflix only canceled it because they didn't know when production was going to resume. And keep in mind with these actors, those contracts are not indefinite. They can't lock you down to one job. So let's say these actors got a different gig, and then, okay, when does this start shooting? Okay, it's going to start shooting 3 months from now. So the agent will call up Netflix and go, hey, Netflix, when are you going to need such and such back to film season 4 of GLOW? And if all Netflix is going to give is go, well, I don't know. Well, in the entertainment industry, that's not a good enough answer. You need to give them a definitive statement. If you're not going to, make a definitive call where it's like, okay, we are going to resume shooting season 4, 5 months from now. If all you're giving is, well, I don't know, that's how you lose the majority of your cast, because they're going to go find other work, and I can't blame the cast for that. And now I already brought up the fact that they were on a live stream, and it was titled After GLOW, The Final Bell, and during the live stream, they had no idea that, season 4 even got shit canned. It was just brought up, and, they were talking about politics and all that crap. I'm not putting a dog in that fight personally. And they were urging fans to start the hashtag #SaveGLOW on Twitter, or basically by going the old school route and actually by sending Netflix letters, going way, way back. That's even before my time. I'm going to be 24 at the end of this month. Yeah, sending letters to the movie studios. That was long before my time. Now, me personally, I think that a movie is a very, very bad idea for this type of show. And I'll give you guys a perfect example for this is Farscape, aired on the Sci-Fi Network back in '99 and ran until 2003. Was canceled because of low ratings, and a lot of people actually blame the fact that it was Stargate SG-1 that moved from Showtime over to the Sci-Fi Channel that caused Farscape to get canceled. But Farscape's fourth and final season ended on a cliffhanger because Farscape was not supposed to end with season 4. And there was enough fan outcry at the time that the Hallmark Channel actually greenlit a 2-episode miniseries called Farscape: The Peacekeeper Wars, basically to wrap up, the cliffhanger ending and wrap up the series as a whole. And both episodes were about 90 minutes each. So yeah, made for a 3-hour finale. So I say to Netflix, don't do the movie at all. Do a 2 to 3 episode miniseries that can wrap up the storylines that were left on a cliffhanger. And hell, you can even do a time jump if you really need to. Now, like I said, I have not seen one single second of GLOW, so I don't know where the storylines have gone. And I can't believe that I'm actually talking about this. I'm probably going to get called a hack for doing this, but whatever. Because what I was going to say about the movie was the fact that, a 2-hour movie is probably not going to do those storylines any justice, because you're going to have to ignore some things and you're going to piss a lot of people off. But you do a 2 to 3 episode miniseries where each episode is about 60 to 90 minutes long. Well, I would actually push it, closer to 90 minutes each. So, okay, 2-3 episode miniseries, 90 minutes each, that could accomplish a hell of a lot more than what a 2-hour movie can. Now can it? Because now you can really get into the minutia, really get into, really tie up every single storyline into a nice, pretty little bow. And now the final news story of the night comes from Paramount and Amazon. Apparently, the Coming to America 2 is moving to Amazon. Now, right now, as I'm recording this episode, Paramount and Amazon are in talks to pull it from the theatrical release slate and just have it go directly to Amazon Prime. Now, Paramount has sold the distribution rights to some of their movies since COVID hit. They sold Amazon Tom Clancy's Without Remorse that was going to star Michael B. Jordan of obviously played Killmonger in Black Panther, was also in Fant Four Stick as Human Torch, and that movie is actually set for a February 2021 release date. Paramount has also sold the distribution rights to Trial of the Chicago 7 and The Lovebirds to Netflix. Now, I even reported this last week how other studios are, doing this with their other movies as well. Sony did it with Greyhound that starred Tom Hanks. That went over to Apple TV+. Warner Brothers sold Enola Holmes to Netflix. And they also sold Clouds to have it, go straight to Disney+. Now, the fact that Coming to America 2 might be going to Prime, the move doesn't really surprise me anymore, given the fact that most theaters are probably not going to pull out because all the studios keep, delay, so the theaters are forced to shut down. And, it may be necessary to put Coming to America 2 on a streaming service to really avoid that logjam of movies in 2021 that I, brought up and went on a tangent for about 15 minutes for. And also, Paramount theoretically could recoup their money from Coming to America 2 by just selling it to Amazon. What are better optics for Paramount right now? Accepting a deal that is, its estimated worth is roughly $100 to $125 million from Amazon and just get it over with, or run the risk by releasing the movie in 2021 and have it potentially bomb because now there's too much competition. Now, Netflix did sign a deal with Paramount to license Beverly Hills Cop 4 with the option to commission a sequel if that movie does well. So this move is not unprecedented, where Paramount has sold the, distribution rights to another Eddie Murphy movie. Granted, Beverly Hills Cop 4 is going to Netflix, Coming to America 2 is going to Amazon Prime. And I think it makes sense for a movie like Coming to America 2 at this point to go straight to streaming rather than the theaters, since this is a sequel to now. Let's see, when did Coming to America come out? Let me look it up because I don't want to be wrong. So you're going to hear my keyboard, and I am, of course, I'm too lazy to edit all these sounds out. So for all of you, okay, I was actually wrong. It came out in 88. So that movie came out 32 years ago. So a sequel to a 32-year-old movie where, let's be honest, if you're my age, unless if you are a diehard Eddie Murphy fan, you've probably never seen Coming to America. Coming to America was from my parents' generation who grew up in the 80s. So if there's any movie to be pulled from theaters and go direct to streaming, it would be something like Coming to America 2. Paramount just recoup your money. And if Amazon makes a butt-fuck ton of it, as a result of it, great. But at least you didn't lose a lot of money by, releasing it to the theaters. And with that out of the way, guys, that is going to end the episode this week. And I'm going to check to see how long we have been going. And holy fuck, we've been going for almost 36 minutes. It seems like these episodes are getting longer and longer every week. I swear it's not planned. But like I said, I said this in the beginning that, oh my God, according to the studios that the industry is dying. Oh my God, we need taxpayer money to bail out the theaters. So with Gal Gadot to lead in a Cleopatra biopic, to Furiosa getting casted, and, Coming to America 2, going to Amazon, and Paramount potentially making $100 to $125 million off that deal, does that sound like an industry that's dying to you? Because to me, it really doesn't. It sounds like a portion of the industry is dying. You can't rely on those $100 to $200 million spectacles anymore and expect to bring in, $1 billion just to break even. And I can't remember when I read, I think this was early 2019. I came across an article, I think it was on Hollywood Reporter at the time, and they actually averaged, the amount of blockbusters coming out between like 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020, obviously before COVID hit. I think it was written in 2019, where they said on average there were like 2 or 3 blockbuster movies releasing every single week between 2017 and 2020, obviously before COVID hit. Now, you and I both know that is great in the short term, but my God, in a few years, that's going to go down like the Hindenburg. Well, those few years came a lot sooner, thanks to the COVID. So, yeah, pretty much before I tangent for too long and bore you guys to fucking tears. Basically, where you want to, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on the blog, subscribe to the RSS feed. That is metropolisradio.blogspot.com. Link in the show notes, link in the description of whatever platform you're watching this on. If you want to follow me on a social media platform, I am on Twitter, at Metropolis. That is a capital M, lowercase e, T-R, capital O, lowercase b, E-L-I-S-K. And I am finally on Parler. The same, what do they call those? What do they call that shit on Twitter? I'm a boomer when it comes to social media. I think it's called a handle. I'm the same handle on Parler, at Metropolis. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and BitChute channel if you enjoy the content. It's a small click for you, and I know it's a bit of an annoyance, but for a very small channel like mine, it actually does help out a lot. Also, share this episode out on social media if you want to. Comment down below, all that jazz. So with all that out of the way, guys, that is going to conclude this week's episode of TMRP. And I will see you guys next time.